Hi, this is Algebra 2, Lesson 24. We're going to talk about fractional equations and overlapping triangles. We're starting on page 112. We have solved equations with decimal terms by multiplying every term by a power of 10, which will clear the decimals. So here we have 3/100ths x plus 2/100ths equals 2/10. We could do the problem like this, but it's easier if we get rid of the fractions. So we figure out which of these numbers needs the highest power of 10 to clear the decimals. And in this case, both of these are the hundredths place. So we're going to multiply all three of these by 100 so we can move the decimal 2 places to the right and get rid of the fractions. So if we do that, we're going to do 3/100ths x times 100, which leaves us with 3x, plus 2/100ths times 100 equals 2, equals 2/10 times 100 equals 20. And now we can solve for x. We subtract 2 from both sides, we're left with 3x equals 18. Divide both sides by 3. And x equals 6. Okay, we've done that. We can solve equations with fractions by multiplying every term by the least common multiple of the denominators. And then the denominators will cancel and we're left with just the numerator. Okay, so to start out with, we need to find the lowest common multiple for each term, or for all of the terms rather. So here we have 4.5x minus 3/5 equals negative 1 1/4. If we turn all these into improper fractions, it looks a little cleaner. You don't have to do this, but it's easier for me to play with numbers when they're all improper fractions instead of mixed fractions. So that'll be 9/2 x minus 3/5 equals negative 5/4. Okay, now we need to find the least common multiple of all three denominators. In this case, the least common multiple is going to be 20. Least common multiple equals 20. So we're going to multiply each term by 20. Okay, so we have 9/2 times 20 minus 3/5 times 20 equals 5/4 times 20. If we multiply 20 times each term, we're not changing the value of the problem. Okay. 20 divided by 2 is 10, so the 2 cancels out, we're left with 10, and 10 times 9 is 90, so we have 90x. 20 divided by 5 is 4, so the 5 cancels out, we're left with a 4, and this is minus 3 times 4, which is 12, equals 20 divided by 4 is 5, so the 4 cancels out, we have a 5 on top. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. And now we can solve for x. Add 12 to both sides. And we have 90x equals negative 13. So x equals negative 13 over 90. It's not pretty, but it's correct. Okay, let's try another one. We have 4x plus 2, quantity over 5, minus 3/2 minus 1/3. So we need to find the least common multiple of 5, 2, and 3. And the lowest common multiple is going to be 30. Okay, so we're going to multiply each term by 30. $30 divided by 5 is 6, so this 5 cancels out. We're left with a 6 on top, so we have 6 times 4x plus 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15, so the 2 cancels out. We have a 15 on top, and we have 15 times 3 is 45, so minus 45 equals 30 divided by 3 is 10. So we have 10 times 1. So this will be 10. Okay, let's multiply this through and solve for x. 6 times 4x is 24x. Plus 6 times 2 is 12. Minus 45 equals 10. We have 24x. 45 minus 12 is minus 33 equals 10. Add 33 to both sides. And 24x equals 43. Divide both sides by 24 to get rid of the coefficient of x. And x equals 43 over 24. Isn't that lovely? It's not pretty, but it's correct. Okay, I want you to show your work, and I want you to circle your answer if you're in my class. Let's try another one. We have 3x over 2 plus 8 minus 4x all over 7 equals 3. So in this case, this is really 3 over 1, which is nice because 1 can go into anything. So we need the least common multiple of 7 and 2, which is 14. Okay, so we're going to multiply 14 by each of the terms. 14, 14, and 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7, so the 2 cancels and we're left with a 7. So that's going to be 21x plus 14 divided by 7 is 2. So this is going to be 2 times the quantity 8 minus 4x equals 3 times 14, which is 42. Okay, let's get rid of this parenthesis. 21x plus 2 times 8 is 16, minus 2 times 4x is 8x, equals 42. 21 minus 8 is 13x, plus 16 equals 42. Subtract both sides with 16, and we get 13x equals 26. Divide both sides by 13. Hey, a pretty answer. X equals 2. Woohoo! Okay, now we're going to talk about overlapping triangles. Here we have a big triangle with a little triangle on top. Angle A, right here, belongs to both of the triangles. They are both sharing angle A. So since angle A is the same for both triangles and therefore equal, and angle B equals angle D, we know that angle C also has to equal angle E. And so these triangles are similar. Okay? Since the angles are similar, that means the sides are going to be proportional. The corresponding sides are going to be proportional. And we're going to use that to solve these problems. So, here we have some overlapping triangles. We've got the one on top and the big one that this is part of. We know that this angle is the same for both of them, and it gave us that these two angles are equal, and therefore that means that this angle is equal to this angle. Okay? Therefore, we can set the sides proportionally in proportions and solve for x and for y. Now, you need to do this carefully. If it helps, you can redraw the triangles. So we have the little triangle, and we know that these angles are equal. Oops, this is only one tick. This is a 7, this is a 9, and this is a 4. And then here's the big triangle. not using a straight edge this time, so sorry, it's ugly. These two angles are equal, these two angles are equal, these two angles are equal, right? Now, this side is not 6. This side is 6 plus 4, which is 10. This side is not just the x, it's 7 plus x. Okay? And this side is 9. So this is the part that you need to look out for when you are separating these triangles. We're not going to say, well, y is still is a ratio of 9, but 4 is not a ratio of 6. 4 is going to be a ratio of 10. It's this whole side. Okay? Because the big triangle is going to use the whole side, not just the 6. Okay, so that's why it might help you to, at least for the first couple of times, redraw the triangles, so you can think about what the length of the big triangle is. Okay, so now we can set up the proportions. So, oops, that's a y. Okay, so we know that 4 is proportional to 10, or 4 is a ratio. 4 is to 10. That's the ratio. Those are the corresponding sides. The corresponding side here is going to be 7 over 7 plus x, right? And 4 over 10 is also going to be proportional to these sides. And we're going from left to right this time, so it's going to be 9 over y. This is a 4. This is a y. Okay. Now we can cross multiply and solve for the x and y. So we have 10 times 7 is 70, which equals 4 times 7 plus x. The 70 equals 28 plus 4x minus 28 minus 28. And 4x equals 42. Divide both sides by 4. And x equals 21 halves. Okay? It's not pretty, but it's correct. Right, now let's solve for y. We've got 9 times 10 equals 4 times y. So 90 equals 4y. Divide both sides by 4. And we get y equals 45 halves. 90 over 4, we divide both of them by 2 and get 45 halves, and that can't be simplified further. Okay, it's not pretty, but it's correct. Okay, be careful of your corresponding sides. Remember that this triangle is going to take up both of these, not just the 6. It's going to be 4 plus 6, and it's going to be not just x, but 7 plus x when you do your proportions. Okay, that's it. Try your practice problems. Let me know if you have any questions.